Hello, I'm FYX and a lot of the videos on this channel tend to be somewhat informative. I try to teach you some things here and there, but today I figured rather than me teaching you things, I'm going to be seeing what Google thinks. I'm going to be checking if it is correct, because these are facts about me that I can personally confirm. We can see if my net worth is correct according to Google, and we're going to be doing that in today's video, because 1.4 million is totally accurate, by the way. But first, let's get into a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. That's right, Raid Shadow. No, we're not actually going to talk about how it's the #1 game of all time with all those downloads and all the exact talking points that every single YouTuber uses, because instead I figured one of the things I can do as a YouTuber is give you a behind the curtains look into how much you actually make from a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. That's right, I can use this video to actually talk about how much I have been personally offered for Raid Shadow Legends, and the amounts might just shock you, and the reasons I turn them down might also be quite interesting to you, so that's what we're doing with this video. So first of all, let's talk about the first offer I got from them, which was from an agency I've worked with a couple of times now. Again, we're going to just read the email very briefly, because they offered me a marketing program offer for Raid Shadow Legends, one of the top growing apps in the App Store, that they had a lot of like arguments as to why I should check it out. And the pay scale on this one was really interesting, because they were offering anywhere from $150 to $30,000, depending on the number of downloads I could get for a certain link. And realistically speaking, this actually wasn't a particularly lucrative offer, because, you know, the number of downloads is something that's really hard to predict, and also it would mean that I'd have to shill really hard for this thing. That's not what I'm about. You know, the advertisement should be separate to the content in some way. That's something I always try to do, separate and let you know what's opinion and what's in the ad, and when that's not clear, or when they give me incentives to make it not clear, I tend to shy away from those things. However, since then I've had 2 direct offers of Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships, and I think I'd show you both of those because you might just be interested by the numbers and how they all went down. So we got this email also that was an offer for a paid promotion of Raid Shadow Legends. It was a blockbuster of a game that's been rapidly conquering the gaming world, and it's not planning to stop anytime soon. They said what they were asking for. They gave me examples. That's when I started to see that, like, oh yeah, it has been in quite a few things. And then what they offered after I, trying to negotiate for a little bit was $4,500, maximum for an advert sponsorship. And to me, this was like, you know what, that's an interesting offer. But again, I kind of turned it down at the time. I think honestly, I was just super busy, and I was thinking like, you know what, I don't have time to get into a mobile game, see if I like it first, and then do all these sorts of things. I basically determined that I didn't want to do it for that price, and I was like, you know what, I would like a, more flat rate, and I'd like a higher rate than that too. And we negotiated for a bit, and it didn't go anywhere. But here's the interesting thing about this game. I've had so many emails offering me to work on this, concept in some way. We've had them from, every agency out there has some form of offer to do with this game, has some form of, we'd like you to check it out. So then I got an offer from a Russian company for the exact same sponsorship. Again, the number of sponsor emails I get every day is a lot. So when I get one that I'm not really that on board with, I just try to give them a really high number to make them go away, because best case, they go away and I don't have to do a thing, because I try to focus on the content that people enjoy more than the advertisements to support all that stuff, because ideally, when you're doing well on YouTube, you can support yourself just with the AdSense. And so to make them go away, I said, hi, the price I would charge for a slot like that would be $5,000. Thanks for getting in touch. And I was hoping, end of email chain right there, but they actually did respond, and after a little bit of negotiation, they actually did agree. Hi, we really want to work with you. The client can offer $5,000 of 250K commitment in the first 30 days after release. In case the video doesn't release at this point, you're obligated to repeat the ad free of charge. The same promo can be used. Basically, they wanted either 1 video if it performed well, or 2 videos, for these Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships, but in exchange, they're willing to give $5,000. So how much can you make from a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship? Even with my channel, even with again, on average, somewhere between 50,000 people and like 70, 80,000 people watching a video, you can make about $5,000 apparently, and it's a crazy high amount of money that actually I was willing to go through the whole process to get. In case you're curious as to where it went wrong, in case you're curious as to why I don't have $5,000 from a Chinese mobile gaming company right now, is because they actually attached a big document of things that you, should say when you talk about this. Usually ads come with an ad read like, oh yeah, here are some points you should talk about if you want to make a good advertisement for our game. There usually is an approval process, so if you don't talk about it well, they're not going to go with it. But in this case, they gave me a giant Google Doc, and in the Google Doc, they had clear points, which are highlighted in red, that you have to mention in your video. Again, I really want to clarify right here, points highlighted in red are a must. there's no choice about whether you say them. You have to say this exact line. And the best part, it's totally free. Almost 10 million players worldwide have downloaded the game in just 6 months. You have to say these exact things, and to me, the reason I wasn't okay with that was because these conditions and everything else in here, which again, there's a whole doc they send you of things, these requirements about what they had to do, you had to have your face, you had to use these things, you had to mouth their words to the camera and convince your audience these were your thoughts. And if you watch any ads, again, the way they're doing them, the shocked face, like, oh, so good, it's so great. The lying, like, again, they came with a condition that you had to fake enthusiasm for something which I wasn't sure if I was enthusiastic for at the time. And even for $5,000, I decided that when it comes to my integrity, when it comes to the value in what I say, in me wanting to say it, I thought that was worth the price of not having to say there's an awesome daily login reward. You know what mobile games really need and have never done before? Daily login rewards. Also, you can add me as a friend. Again, they clarify you have to give out your nickname and you have to pretend like you're going to play with people in the game. You know, I don't like playing people. I'm not a social person. I'd have to lie to people about that. A blatant lie too. These factors all added up to make me realize I'm not lying for money. I'm not selling the integrity, the value of my spoken word, even for $5,000. And you might think, man, that could be one of the most stupid decisions, and maybe it is. Maybe I look back at this in a few years and say, no, that's not a thing. But personally, I want it to be true that you can trust what I say most of the time. And that's why, generally speaking, when I say something, even for ad reads, I'm talking about a product that I like or think would be useful to you in some way. Do I think Raid Shadow Legends is that? No, at least not for $5,000 apparently. Although here's the craziest bit, someone from the same company later contacted me with the exact same offer later on down the line for December 2019, and I asked for $8,000 and it actually went through as well. So fun fact, I turned this one down for $8,000 as well as for $5,000. Because because it was the same company, they insisted the same script thing, they insisted the same legal contract had to be signed, and I was like, no, that's not a thing that I'm actually doing. In case you're actually curious, one of the other things that people get paid, we're talking tens of thousands for, are exclusive TikTok streaming or Facebook gaming streaming projects, and I've been contacted by both those companies, and because they wanted me to sign an NDA before just to negotiate about it, I was, on principle, I was like, no, if your secrets can't be told, if you want me to be legally locked in to not tell you just about this vague concept, I don't want to do it. I like the idea that, again, I can talk about pretty much anything I want, and that's also why, in case you're curious, because, again, turning down $8,000, there's going to be a lot of people being like, Toycat, just take the money. We'll know it's a lie. I know there's going to be some person like that. Same thing with TikTok, just like, you know what, sign the agreement. But here's the weirdest one. Here's one where this example comes in really well, because I got offered a serious amount of money from Skylar Yang, someone from Guangzhou, China, to post some Chinese news sources on my Facebook and my Twitter. Like, oh, that'd be really useful if I could share some Chinese news. That sounds like a reasonable ad. I like news. I think you should be informed. But if you look what the news is, it's about fighting terrorism in Xinjiang and the separatists, the terrorist attacks there. Yeah, you know what? The Chinese government is in the right when it comes to Xinjiang. That, to me, is like, oh, Jesus, God. What these offers that come through in my thing, I don't understand who takes these. I don't know who is posting Chinese propaganda or even just, playing their games in exchange and agreeing to say their words for things. But my opinions are not for sale, and that is not my opinion, and neither is a lot of these things aren't my opinions, okay? So that's a thing that I just wanted to throw out there. So how much is IBX Toycat worth? About 8,000 less than I probably could be. But you know what? Integrity has a high value too. It actually theoretically does. One of the things you don't realize, when a lot of people see that, wait, my favorite YouTube creator, if they're bigger than me, bear in mind, they got paid a lot more than $8,000. Some of your favorite creators are being paid $8,000, these sorts of things. What the heck is going on with that? You might say they're being massively overpaid for these sponsorships, but the reality behind these, in my opinion, is that you're not being paid. Again, they don't think that my, 2 hours to download the game, 30 minutes to record and edit together a sequence saying download the game. They don't think 2.5 hours of my time is worth $8,000, although that'd work out to about $3,000 an hour, so I wish they did think my time was worth that amount. But the actual value is in the audience and in the, again, the accrued value that you have over your career. Your public figure, your influence on other people is what people try to sell you. And to me, that's worth retaining. That's worth keeping for only things I agree with. I want to use the influence to do good things, And again, the saying that daily loot boxes and you can add me as a friend when you can't is, you know, to me, that seems like a thing that isn't worth selling. But how much am I worth, you know? Because 1.4 million or 1.408 million, sadly not true. Is this a real number? Am I really worth that amount? And can I just mention, by the way, this first website that comes up when you Google this, I'm really annoyed they decided to use this picture. Like, come on. Like, again, I posted this from Japan, if I'm not mistaken. It was a literally awful picture because it was so bright I couldn't look. And they decided this is the picture to show a millionaire, which I'm not a millionaire, by the way. Even in US dollars, because in, you know, 1.4 million would make me a pound millionaire as well. I'm not a dollar millionaire. I'm not a pound millionaire, sadly. But I am an English YouTuber from London, United Kingdom. And I do go by the name of Andrew, so they got that right. Also, look at this adorable picture of me with, what do I have in my hand right there? I think they're deer biscuits. The deer just really liked me, okay? It was adorable. There's a place in Nara, it's a deer park. The deer loved us. It was an adorable little thing. But how much am I worth? Let's answer that. Let's get that out of the way. I have an estimated net worth of 1.4 million. And again, there's no number you could even come up with to make this true. Even if you're trying to talk about, like, oh yeah, every asset I have combined, all the things that I have, like if you take my house without even counting the fact that this is mortgaged, the walls I live in, if you just take the house by itself, still nowhere close to even a single million, let alone 1.4. So they made up that number based on something to do with maybe this next section, which is how much I earn on YouTube. So all these pictures are from Japan. Whoever made this article, they really love me being in Japan. It was by Julian. So Julian is jealous of my trip to Japan and thinks I'm a millionaire as a result. Anyway, so my channel has over 1.5 million subscribers. Not true. Accumulated over 650 million views so far. Not true. Yeah, 509 million. Why do you even make up a number that precise and that wrong? I don't quite get that. Also, an average of 750,000 views a day from different sources. Sadly, not true. Again, the days would be great if that was a thing. I will admit, though, at one point in time, in September, it was averaging something like 600,000 views a day. So that's not far off when this was written, right? Yeah, this was written September 3rd, or was updated on September 3rd. That was not horrifically wrong then, but it is horrifically wrong now. That was more wrong then. This is more wrong then. You know what, this whole article a bit messed up. But I should generate an estimated revenue of $3,000 a day, 1.1 million a year. Is $3,000 a day really $1.1 million a year? Jesus, it is. If I'm making $1.1 million a year, how am I worth 1.4 million? Where does my money go, Nail Buzz? There's so many questions in this. I don't think I've earned 1.1 million in my entire like YouTube history, like the last 9 years. Actually, it's been like just over 10 years. I don't think I've earned that much in the last 10 years combined from every source combined. Yeah, I definitely haven't. So, you know, that is a ridiculous notion in my opinion. Getting paid $2 to $7 per 1,000 monetized views after YouTube takes its cut. Is true enough. Monetized views, okay, there's a blah, 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 blah. The Google preferred, but I'm not in that, of course. Andrew makes extra income from his other channels. That's true, actually. Do you want to see how much extra income I make from the third channel where I review McDonald's? Oh, we're having a good month this month, apparently. We made $38 on that channel. So, you know, really, even though I haven't earned 1.1 million from my main channel, when you add in the $38 from Andrew Andrews this month, and over this last year, 2019, that's $240. What is over the lifetime, actually? Like, over the last, like, 3 years this has been around. Oh, yeah, $398. We are going big on the YouTube today. We made 17 cents this day. We averaged less than $1 almost every day of this channel's existence. It really is, like, recently, like, again, December ads, if you don't know, they pay more. So, over December, we earn, oh no, even then we're earning less than $1 most days. But yeah, we had a big $4.22 day, Sunday the 8th of December. I'm about to declare myself a, you know, I'm going to go full-time just on this one channel is what I'm saying. But yeah, in case you're curious, the other channels are not significant sources of income. Okay, so nailbuzz.com with their 1.4 million estimate, which Google's going to act like is totally accurate and people are going to genuinely believe. I mean, sure, you can believe I'm a millionaire. It'd be nice if I was a millionaire. Next up, we're going to go to ie.youtubers.me, just in case they understand better. They've actually tried to work it out. Nope, they've put up the Social Blade page, it seems. Like, it looks exactly the same as Social Blade. They assume my net worth is $191,000 or 1.15 million. Oh no, sorry, it's between those two figures. Technically not wrong, I guess. I mean, when you make an estimate that is a order of magnitude apart, you're going to be right. What's your net worth, viewer? Is it somewhere between $10 and 10 million? It is. Wow, I'm a psychic. Or like, I have a feeling, dear viewer, that you had a sad time in the last 5 years. Yes, these are, when you make a statement super broad, it's going to be right. You know, because I live near London, not even that near London, but because I live near London, you cannot buy a house for less than that amount. That if you bought a house for that amount, it would be a very bad house in a very bad area. You could buy an apartment maybe, but like, you know, if you count my house, then yes, I could not be worth less than that. And if they did their research that I live in London and that I own a house, this would not be accurate. But because this is all estimates, it's just made up. They're just assuming like how much you make in the last 90 days. $34,000. They've got actually wait they have the last like 3 years of earnings, and let me just tell you, they're inaccurate. There are actually, interestingly enough, there's a lot of months where it's below, of course. There are a few months in here, I won't spoil which ones, the very best months of all time on my channel, where I have earned more than one of these numbers. So, actually more than a couple of them. So, you can work out which ones they are. It mostly is the Decembers and how they wildly underestimate what a good December would be, because they don't understand ad rates, I guess, on this website. Whatever, ie.youtubers.me, not doing so great. But what about IBX Toycat net worth 2019 revealed with proof? And god damn it, they're using the same picture. Stop. No, this isn't my default picture. What? Why? Why do this to me? At least Famous Birthdays had the decency, the common courtesy to use this, you know, like, these aren't all awful pictures. You know, they vary from bad in some form, but they took them themselves from videos and they tried to make them look like people might expect me to. Look how delightful I am in all these different pictures. But then they've just decided to, oh god, what has this site become? I disagree with the sentiment you might also like. Also, people looking up Minecraft YouTubers and getting these ads. Just saying, not the most ideal thing in the world. Anyway then, so date of birth, July 13th, 1995. Correct. Age, 24 years old. Correct. Birthplace, England, UK. Technically correct. Zodiac, Cancer. I mean, if you got, like, don't act like those are different pieces of information, but sure. Height, 5 feet and 8 inches. I actually am 5'9". I've decided, like, you know the game where everyone, like, rounds up their height by at least an inch? I'm actually closer to 5'9" than I'm 5'8", and I used to figure for the longest time, like, I'll be the one honest person, I'll give my actual, you know, measurements for things in inches rather than adding one, but I've decided we're playing the game where we're gonna be adding an inch to the thing, so guess what, I'm 5'9" inches, unless you mean... Anyway, so IBX Toycat's net worth is 1.2 million. Did they just take the other net worth and take a bit off to seem more accurate? I don't know. IBX Toycat is a British YouTuber who is best known for uploading videos related to games such as Minecraft in his channel IBX Toycat. That's probably true enough. Before making calculations, we'd like to make a statement that the genuine calculations given below are made from the beginning of his career. The estimation is not made on flawed guessing, rather on concrete facts and figures. Concrete facts and figures. So they've done a bunch of calculations and they've concluded that the total video view from the beginning of my channel was 478 million views. And then they worked out that if I got paid $3 for every 1,000 views, which I don't. I mean, in December, maybe at the very best. Also, not every view is whatever. But like, if they assume that, I would be paid $1.4 million over the channel length. Which, again, really, you know, like really great maths. Just taking my last 10 years of YouTube, multiplying it by 3 and assuming that averages out, ignoring again that January is a month where you get paid so much less, ignoring that December is a month which you get paid the most, and even then $3 would be a lot for, ignoring all of those factors, they just assumed that, like, wait, no tax for YouTubers? They Googled, and they, according to medium.com, which isn't a great size, they said YouTubers fall into the category of 20% tax bracket as self-employed individuals. The minimum tax bracket you'll have if you're self-employed is 29%, in the UK at least, 20% for income tax, 9% national insurance. It pays a lot of things, like, it doesn't actually pay for healthcare, but it pays for healthcare and retirement, big air quotes. So like, you're paying a minimum of 29%. In a lot of cases, it goes higher, 40, 45, 47, etc. These much higher numbers are a thing you'd pay. So just taking 20% off the top, which that's not how taxes work. Progressive taxes are a thing. They just made up some wild numbers and went, yep, that seems about right. Also, I make $10 to $50 a t-shirt, which I don't know, just all of this stuff is crazy, I don't know. My favorite thing on this page is that, thus, after all the facts and figures explained above and adding up his YouTube earnings and other income streams, IBX Toycat's estimated net worth is 1.2 million. Even after all these explaining and calculations, if you don't believe it, then God bless you. What? What is this website and why are their ads so goddamn dodgy? Next up, we have a site called Alpha Life, which is for alphas, I would guess. And yeah, they've got the exact same details where they they have my death date and age ready for when I die, which is nice to know. Okay, we finally found a website that is willing to admit it has no clue what I was worth in 2017, no clue what I was worth in 2018, no clue what I was worth in between those years, and it comes to a grand total of under review. Also, how much is IBX Toycat worth? Currently worth a total of under review. I mean, this is the most accurate website, and it's also a website that has weird ads for take the blue pill just this once. Okay, we're gonna finish with Celebs Money. This is a site that specializes in the amount of money that celebs have. And again, I use incognito for these videos, so it's funny to see the level of ads that you get on a site like this and how blatant their profiteering is of like, we're not here to provide information, we're here to try and get clicks in any way we can. So you can see how there's this giant ad for Jet2 holidays up there, an ad for Sky TV, a ridiculously tiny one, then a giant one for like, it's just like, there's more ads than content on this page. Anyway, so with that said, IBX Toycat's source of wealth comes from being a YouTube star. How much money is IBX Toycat worth at the age of 24, and what's his real net worth now? As of 2019, IBX Toycat's net worth is under review. Oh. It's just under review, is it? I guess it's better than celebtrendsnow.com, which is literally down. Honestly, the fact that all these websites are trying, you can tell that their goal isn't even in trying to give numbers at this point. Like, the goal is solely in every single one of these websites' case, just to have something that can come up on the YouTube result. You don't need to have accurate numbers, you just need to have deliberately not provable inaccurate. My net worth as a random individual on YouTube, it's not out there anyway. There's no way that anyone can know it. Even the UK government, which has detailed tax returns every year of what I spend, what I earn, what tax I'm paying to them, and therefore my net earnings every year, even they have no idea what amount I spend on stupid things like Kinder Eggs and Mario Kart toys, and what amount I actually save and am worth, because when you spend money, it's gone. When you buy a Kinder Egg, you don't have it anymore. When you spend it on a phone, you have at least a physical item that you can later sell for less, a depreciating asset. When you buy assets or when you store it in cash or have things that increase in value, you gain the money. Your net worth is something that is impossible to calculate, even if you're a public figure, and that's why even if you try to search someone up like, who's gonna have a well-known net worth? Like PewDiePie, he's the largest YouTuber. What's his net worth? It's gonna say that he's worth $30 million, but that is purely guesses that can't be disproved, that start to circulate and go around the place. This is a lot of how the internet generates things for anyone. Even if you go beyond the YouTube realm into like, I don't know, Johnny Depp, is he still... yeah, let's go Keanu Reeves, actually. I like Keanu Reeves as a celebrity. His net worth is going to be really tricky to work out. He's $360 million. Even if you happen to know all the precise movie deals he's signed and when and where, you won't have known which personal ventures have succeeded and failed, because a lot of personal private information is, financial information is held very privately. The only people that you can get a good feel for the net worth of are the people of the world like the Jeff Bezoses, because their shares in Amazon, their net worth is very clearly defined. That's why it goes up and down so much, because it is held in shares. That's why if you look at a Bill Gates, his shares are very well defined, very clearly laid out there. That's why this is a direct number. When you're talking about much smaller people, when you're talking about the actors of the world, or even the YouTubers of the world, you're never going to know how much they're really worth, because those numbers aren't going to be available to anyone. The way the tax brackets and the countries they're in aren't going to be perfectly available. And then, the ad deals they did, all these extra source of income is going to be missed out. Then the way they spend that money is entirely gone. We've seen the differences between how certain YouTubers spend money, right? Two different YouTubers on the same level of fame might end up spending the money in wildly different ways. One might buy entirely depreciating assets, and one might end up founding a company that is bought by Disney one day. These are all, the same basic concepts made by, you know, like this is taking that same amount of money that you earned and turning it into much different, bigger, better things. And that is something that you're not taking into account with these net worth guesses. When you think of a celebrity and you want to know how much they're worth, if you Google, like, I don't know, what's one that I found interesting is like Piers Morgan, who's a very widely hated celebrity. Don't talk about his thing. He's not very popular for a lot of reasons, but he's very controversial, you might say. He's got a net worth of 13 pound million. That is quite shocking how low it is given his profile, because again, the jobs that he has aren't as relatively well paid. You can use it as a ballpark that he's somewhere in the millions to tens of millions, probably not in the hundreds of millions, right? If you want to look up someone like, you know, actually, wait, let's go more controversial. Let's go of the president of the US. What is his net worth? You don't actually know. 3.7 billion according to one, 3 billion according to another, and that is a businessman that has the level of asset thing because of how tricky it is for you to know someone else's net worth if they're not publicly broadcasting it themselves. If we take like I don't know, someone from the Dragons Den, like Peter Jones. I was curious how much he was worth earlier. He's worth 500 million apparently. This amounts to the equivalent of 332 million. Wait, 500 million is worth 332 million. Do you see how the express.co.uk is not a trustworthy source for these sorts of things? But yeah, you get the point that most net worths are not publicly trustable, and that's why actually if we use Wikipedia as an example, the net worth of most celebrities won't be listed on there. If they're a business person with clearly defined interests and stakes that they want to brag about and show out there, you'll see it on there. Whereas if we look up the most famous sports star who has a publicly available income, like, I don't know, Ronaldo was probably big at one point. If we look him up, the Cristiano Ronaldo, his net worth, for example, is not going to be on his page because it's not publicly divested. You know, his deals, how much he was paid was probably widely known, right? 94 million in his transfer from Manchester United to Real Madrid. But despite that being out there, you don't know what he does with the money because they're not business people. Money is not the one thing about them. And yeah, it's kind of like how you don't know what my favorite flavor of Skittle is, or you don't know what I dreamt last night, or what my deepest desire is, or anything like that, unless I directly say it to the internet or say it to a reporter. And there are reporters from The Express, there are reporters from, there aren't reporters at Celebrity Me and all these other things. They're not going through them, are they? The Daily Feed, these just the Sun, you know, these aren't newspapers and outlets that are trying, the richest. They're not trying to, you know, be accurate. They're trying to make a story. And just keep that in mind the next time you look up someone's net worth. Okay, editor, just between me and you, I'm actually worth 1.4 million. I hope I got them off the trail. I hope they stop believing that I'm worth that amount now. Okay, we're good. By the way, net worth, even if I was worth 1.4 million, wouldn't actually be that amount. I wish I was worth 1.4 million, man. If all of you like this video and hit that notification bell, become a member, buy my merch, maybe I'll be worth 1.4 million one day. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, because I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.